Welcome to Razor Branding Podcast with Jackie Russo. To learn more about how to improve your brand, visit brandrusso.com.
Hi, welcome to Razor Branding Podcast, the National Podcast Day Marathon. That's right, we're going till midnight tonight. Every hour, we're talking to a different nonprofit and giving them a chance to talk about what they've got going on and hopefully raise some much needed funds. So I am so honored and delighted that we are now talking to Ryan with the M.I.Brary to talk to us all about the musical instrument library that he built through the Citizens Project and how that's going with them and doing a whole donation series that they did to have music lessons for people during the pandemic. It's kind of impressive. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So tell everybody, tell all the good people about the M.I.Brary, how that came to be, how it works, what it is, what it do. And I just on a side note, I gave you a shout out this morning on Foster the Love. We were talking about a foster kid who wants to learn to play the saxophone. And I said, check it out from the M.I.Brary. And she hadn't heard about it. So they went and did that today. How exciting is that?
That's cool. That's good. I always like to hear when people make use of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us about the M.I.Brary, how it came to be and what it is.
Back in 2017, I had heard about an event called the 24-Hour Citizen Project. It's a Shark Tank for community ideas, and I just went to an event just to attend, a pre-event, and I came up with the idea basically on the way there of a library where you can check out musical instruments. And Butch Russell runs the 24-Hour Citizen Project, and he encouraged me to do the actual event. So I applied and ended up winning $5,000 to get it started. And so basically I purchased instruments and acquired some donations, and we teamed up with the Lafayette Public Library, and you can actually check out musical instruments with a library card. And so we've had a lot of people. I think we just made a 2-year anniversary this summer, and we've had over 250 checkouts since the launch. So that's in 2 years. So I think it's going pretty well, and it's great to see that it also helps support local music shops, because people will go and check out an instrument and then go buy one from a local shop. So it's been pretty cool to see it evolve.
That is awesome. So when I think about all these different musical instruments, I know how expensive it is to have kids in music. So I would imagine this is hugely beneficial to parents who typically little Timmy and Susie try something for a couple of days and then decide they don't like it anymore. Now they can test drive all these different instruments before they commit to spending, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the big hurdle that faces a lot of prospective musicians is the instruments aren't cheap, and then once you buy one, you're stuck with it. But what if you could test them out first? And so you can actually check them out for 28 days, so like 4 weeks at a time. And like I said, a lot of people have done that and then go and buy an instrument from Solo Violins or from Lafayette Music. So yeah, that's kind of the big catch of the program, is to be able to try before you buy.
It's a test drive. So let me ask you, if I have maybe a kid who was in band or had an instrument and they've outgrown it or lost interest or moved on, can I donate instruments to the M.I.Brary or just donate cash money?
You can. You can donate instruments. That's the majority of the first wave of instruments were donations. But now we like to purchase them, because if we purchase, a lot of the same instrument, then it's easier to repair those instruments. So you can donate, but right now we're kind of in a good spot where we like to purchase them.
Sure. No, that's awesome. And so if people want to donate to the cause, they can go to the Mighty Cause page, and that link is in the comments section. and that will enable them to be able to put money right into your Mighty Cause account, and then you can use that to go buy more instruments. So what kind of instruments, does it run the gamut? Is it kind of a little bit of everything? What all is available?
Well, yeah. Well, unfortunately, we don't do mouthpiece instruments just because that's like a sanitation type of issue. And those instruments tend to be a lot more difficult to repair anyway. But we have, right now we have a lot of Cajun instruments, okay, accordion, fiddle, rub board, but traditional things too, guitar, banjo, um, bass guitar. We have a lot of percussion instruments like a cajon and bongos. Um, we have a good bit of stringed instruments and percussive instruments and drums and xylophone as well. But we have about 30, I want to say right now. The goal, the next goal is to have enough violins so that we could teach lessons with the Acadiana Symphony Orchestra. Um, and the same with ukuleles, to have a few to have classes.
That is awesome. I know my buddy Dana Baker over at the ASO probably loves that, because what a great idea to get young, budding, interested potential musicians into the fold by this. Now, is all of the downtown library, or is it spread out across the system?
It's actually at the Willow Street branch. So
Okay.
there's a the Clifton Chenier Center. There's a library branch there, and that's where there's a lot of storage, but we do keep them out in circulation though. So that's where it is at the Willow Street location.
That is awesome. Now, if I can't get to the Willow Street location for some reason, can I go to my local library and they'll bring it to me the way they do books?
That's a good question. I'm honestly not sure. I think you have to go to that
Okay.
Willow location.
That's a fair request. I just
Mm,
know that with books it's so easy because I can go to whatever branch is closest to me, and the library will actually bring it to me, which is kind of nice.
right.
But no, that is so awesome. And so I know it's still a new program, and we've had a whole kind of pandemic in the middle here. But are you starting to see a lot of traction? I mean, are you feeling like people are really, they know about it and they're getting into it and checking them out?
I still say that's probably the biggest issue is not no one really knows about it. And we've done some marketing, and the library has a good outreach. Um, they have a lot of newsletter subscribers, and um, but if you go up to the uh, normal person up here in the street, they won't know about it. A lot of people, if I'm wearing a M.I.Brary shirt, they'll ask me, what that is. So yeah, still getting the word out about it is a little bit of a hurdle.
Well, I know from a professional standpoint, that's the biggest hurdle most enterprises face is getting the word out. It's always a challenge. And I think part of it is not for lack of effort. I mean, y'all talk about it, y'all put the word out. I know that I've seen lots of things about it, but I think it just comes down to people so being caught up in their own lives and in their own worlds that unless they hear something over and over and over again, it's in one ear and out the other if it doesn't directly relate to their need at that time.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, we've done some marketing here and there and gotten the word out. But it'd be great if everyone knew about it.
Right. So, what's the next wave of instruments that you want to buy? Have you put together a shopping list and have an idea of how much you need to raise over the next few months or year or whatever to be able to afford the list?
I still have a grant that we got from the Threadhead Cultural Foundation out of New Orleans to spend, but that'll go quick. It's like 2,500. So it's we want to get like 10 violins and 10 ukuleles to have enough to have a class and not
Right.
have to have the students own the instruments. Um, so that 2,500 would go quick. So I would say I'd say like $4,000 to $5,000 would be necessary for that purchase.
Sure. And I mean, that seems reasonable. I know this day and age, it's a little tough with people because of the pandemic. They don't have as much, to give. But when you're thinking about $4,000 to $5,000 to be able to have two entire classes of instruments, that's a great deal. And so, if anybody wants to help support the cause and put music in the hands of people who need it, they can go to the Mighty Cause page, which has a link in the comments, and donate. And then hopefully we can raise that money and give y'all a chance to do a little shopping spree.
Yeah, exactly. And look, we always shop at the local music stores, Lafayette Music and Sola primarily. They've helped us out a lot. And in return, some of the patrons will go and buy instruments from them. So,
Which is awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I know when you're talking about locally owned stores, it's always good so we can put that money back into the community. I think that's just so important. And so if people are interested, they can go to the Facebook page for M.I.Brary. Is there any other place they should go to get more information?
So, yeah, if you go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/M.I.Brary, you can read all about it. You can see some of the things we've done in the past couple of years. If you want to see the inventory, you can go to LafayettePublicLibrary.org/M.I.Brary, and it'll tell you how the M.I.Brary works, and it'll show you what instruments we have in the inventory, which ones are checked out, and which ones are at the M.I.Brary.
I think I asked you this before, but I want to make sure that I've covered it correctly. I know years ago, PASA had a program called Play It Again, and it was a recycling of instruments. Do you know where those are? Were y'all able to combine forces? Is that the kind of thing where they could bring those instruments into the M.I.Brary?
So it's at Acadiana Center for the Arts now, and we're under that umbrella as well. Really what we do is if someone brings us a mouthpiece instrument, we give it to them, or an instrument that's like a band instrument, we'll give it to them, because they do a great job of refurbishing instruments, especially band instruments that they can give to schools or to children that need it. So it's kind of not necessarily a combination, but we do work together.
Well, and I think that makes perfect sense because you're doing the non mouthpiece ones and they have the mouthpiece ones. And so it feels like a good blend between the two. So whichever instrument people are looking for, they can either go to the M.I.Brary at the Lafayette Public Library on Willow Street, or they can go to the Acadiana Symphony for the Arts and hit the Play It Again program. That's a win-win for everybody.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to talk about all of your musical endeavors, because you are quite the man about town with when it comes to music, and I know how important live music is to all of us and how much it's been impacted by the pandemic. So can you catch us up on all the different musical things you have going on?
Well, I play in a band. My band is called Dr. C and the Gree. We're not really gigging right now because there's nothing. And if there's a gig, we want the musicians, the full-time musicians, to take those gigs. So, so there's that. I also I started a Spotify playlist a few years ago. I called it "This Is Lafayette, Louisiana," and I built it up to about 350 followers now. It's all Lafayette musicians, and I kind of, I guess I kind of branded it to be a focus on Lafayette musicians. I built a stage recently in my backyard, and I host what I call Lollapalooza, and I have bands that play back there. I have 6 concerts booked this fall, one including my band. But yeah, I don't know. I like music. I like local music. I think Lafayette music is so underrated. So yeah, I'm trying to do my part.
Well, and I like how you just kind of slipped that in there. To be clear, this backyard event space is not just sort of, a couple of wood slats that people stand on. You built a stage and an encampment and a roof and lights and AV. I mean, it's a freaking stage in your backyard.
Yeah, it's a stage. Like it could be, it could probably be at like a festival or something.
Right.
But but yeah, I mean, I had the idea one day, and I had the slab in the backyard serving no purpose.
Right.
So uh, why not build a stage? And just finished it just in time for the first show last week.
That is awesome. I feel like bands can now go on tour. And instead of touring around the country, they can just tour around Acadiana. They can hit the Hideaway, they can hit the Grass Room, they can hit Lollapalooza. I mean, it's a whole circuit you can put people on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool though. I mean, I like the thought of more outdoor concerts, but hopefully sometime in the near future we'll be back to the normal. We'll see.
Right. Well, in my mind, I see you, selling out Lollapalooza concerts, growing that following, outgrowing your stage, and eventually working your way up to building some form of the Lafayette version of the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion right here in Acadiana. Because I love that kind of outdoor venue where I'm up on the hill and I'm looking down at the stage. So I'm just saying, maybe that could be one of the next things you do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the space is for that, but
I feel Coteau Ridge, man. Coteau Ridge. You can have people
okay,
up on the hill there. You could put it down where the Mississippi used to roll. I mean, we've got options on the way to Opelousas. Off to the side right there where it drops down
okay,
like that.
all right,
Big picture. I'm not saying by next week or something. I'll give you a few months or maybe a year
a
to put it all
year, okay.
together. But we need our own Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion,
I gotcha. Oh man, we would have. I mean, that'd be fantastic if we had that.
right? Well, and in my mind, if you build a venue like that, then we can start getting the same kind of acts that go to Red Rocks or the Hollywood Bowl, and maybe they bring that weather with them. So we get the cool weather like we have right now. We have this awesome outdoor venue. Now, appreciate that I'm on like hour 12 of a podcast marathon day, so I'm loopy. But I see a vision here where you could build out an entire event venue center. It would be awesome.
Yes, give me a year at least, please.
I'll give you a year and a half. How about that? A full
All
18 months.
right,
That's plenty of time, Ryan.
all right, all right, all right.
So, what else do you guys have going on? You have anything else coming up?
Oh, not really. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to take
Good.
some downtime. I'm an optometrist, and uh, COVID shutdown was so stressful for me. So I felt like at one time I felt like I needed to take the rest of the year off because it was so intense. Um, but I did buy some land for that for a new, I own Scott Eye Care,
Right? There's an
and
expansion coming. You're going to be building a new building, right? And it's going to get even bigger and better
mhm,
to serve more people.
that's correct. Because right now we're booked out several weeks, and I hate that. When people call and they have to go somewhere else, because they want to come see us, but so that's in the next few years. But music wise, just have to see what happens with the pandemic. And I like where I'm at right now. I like having these concerts in my backyard.
I think it's awesome. I think it is fantastic.
Yeah.
And just a quick shout out to Sky Eye Care. I know you've hired other doctors to continue to try to handle the flow of patients, and you're still staying booked out. That's a great sign of your business and your team. I've had the chance to interact with your staff as a patient, and I tell you, it's top notch. That's customer service, the follow up, all of it. So I love the services y'all provide and how helpful you are for the community.
Cool. I really appreciate hearing that from you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, of course. I mean, I see better with the context they gave me, so it's all good.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Well, listen, we're hitting the 20-minute mark, and so I want to thank you for being a part of our day and for doing the M.I.Brary. And if anybody's interested in donating, those links are in the comments section. You can go to the Mighty Cause page. If anybody wants to go check out, they can go to LafayettePublicLibrary.org/M.I.Brary and see the list of instruments. And I think the whole idea is to keep music going. I think we'll put a link up to that Spotify list as well because I want to give people a chance to immerse themselves in all things Ryan musical.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you so much. And to everybody watching, thank you. Make sure you come back at 6 o'clock. We will have the, 7 o'clock. I don't even know what time it is anymore. We'll have Monkus Park, and we're going to talk all about what's going on with Monkus Park and the horse farm and all of the great things they have going on there. So thank y'all very much.
When the day is through.